yesterday, you know how to turn it on. So I'm not going to turn it off, turn it back on. But if you're in a specific mode and you want to change modes, the little button on the top says room mode, we can go back. Mm-hmm. And we are wanting to do presentation today, and we're going to start with audio only because I don't want to turn on the projector right away. I still have the option to add the projector at any point. It's just audio with video automatically starts the projector.
And lowers the screen.
And lowers the screen.
Set up now.
So, what we got going on the screen is across the top is all your inputs. Now that's where that box with the patch cable would plug into one of those outputs, and they're labeled stage left, front of stage left, because my programmer doesn't know what upstage and downstage means.
Don't tell Josh that.
But he does get stage left and stage right correct.
Fair enough.
So,
That took a
like
while.
I said, if you can read, you can follow this. On this side is the media volume. What that means is anything that's selected up here, if it has audio associated with it, that's where you control the volume. Below that is the audio control. That brings up a second page. And on the front of apron of the stage, you have 3 spots to plug in wired microphones. And the plates are labeled lecture mic 1, lecture mic 2, lecture mic 3. Matches the text here. Then you also have 3 line inputs. They're either dual RCA or they're dual RCA and 3.5. I can't remember. So with an adapter, if you have an iPod or whatever you want to plug in. And then you have 2 wireless mics available all the times in lecture mode. They're the 2 new ones that we provided.
Have they been labeled?
Knowing me, yeah.
And we're not to reassign those to anything else. I'm hoping. They can just be available. There's been talk about giving those 2 mics to the custodians, and they would be the keeper of those 2 because they would be
They're letting it out.
the
for groups.
evening guys
Yeah.
would be the ones that are doing the letting out.
I labeled them lecture 1 and lecture 2.
Solid.
Don't get that confused with the wired mic. It's still wireless. These are beta 87s. I think yours are 58, beta 58s. Mild one. So
The ones we
check
have.
that. So now I'm live. I have mute control
Do the same chargers work?
and volume up and down. I think these do not have rechargeable batteries in them. You could take rechargeable batteries and they will dock the same as yours do.
Well, when we have, with the cafeteria system, we were given 8 or 12 of those lithium batteries. We'll never use all 12 of those. We'll probably swap those out.
Stick them in these guys and then dock them in your current docking stations.
Right. Okay.
You have no tone control, and you'll notice that pretty much full volume is where you're going to be 99% of the time. So no tone control to worry about. It's volume up, it's volume down, it's shut it off. And that's the same across all of your audio controls.
Is this mirrored in the rear stage
Yep,
unit?
exact same.
So while you're operating on it here, it's showing the same things back
If that
there?
panel's awake,
Okay.
it won't wake up the panel,
Okay.
but when you do go down and wake it up, it'll be at this page. So main projector on, off, and mute. That's a video mute. So if you're displaying something, you can mute it if you're trying to search through an email and you don't want everybody to read your email.
Or to have something queued up and
Yeah.
then turn it on at the appropriate time
Yep.
in a concert. Okay.
Screen up, screen down, and stop. So if we turn on the projector. This is live feedback. If you hear the button, when you push it, click, it is turning on. You don't have to keep mashing the button. It's just not going to switch to on until the projector is on.
Can you explain the new way that the screen comes down and we don't have to hit stop?
Right. It's the limit is set. It's going to come down to a predetermined level, You
If
can
we wanna
stop it.
it halfway,
You can stop it halfway.
we've already had that issue.
And how do you stop that? Just hit stop?
Stop.
Just so we could show welcome.
Yeah.
And it's been pre-focused to that distance and
Yes.
everything.
So, and I get asked this question, I'm gonna answer it right now. You probably have a rear scrim.
Mhm.
Can we refocus the projector to aim at the scrim? Yes, it can be done.
I don't
You
do
have
that.
to do it. You're responsible for getting it to be focused back on the screen when
Right.
needed.
I don't wanna do it.
So right now, the last thing that I had selected in the other mode was to send the cameras up there.
Can I ask you, does the video screen or the video from this projector only goes down as far as we're seeing it right now?
Yes.
Can we reset because so the screen would never ever need to go that low.
Right.
Can we set it to not go that low and just stop where the image stops?
No. You would actually physically just have to stop it. Because the screen that you have does not have a field adjustable limit switch, because it's your existing screen.
So okay.
So you could
It's
just-
either all up or all down unless we
Yep.
manually.
So we can raise it up and then,
So when admin asks, the bottom 5 feet of that screen are always gonna be dark.
Unless
okay.
we raise it.
Unless you do
Right,
this.
Right. Unless we do that. Or
and
stop
hit
at
it
any
about a
screen.
half a second before you want it to stop.
Look at that.
See?
Nice.
It's like you've done this before.
Once or twice. So right now you'll see what is selected is the control booth, and that happens to be the camera. Now if I hit the control booth again, it switches to video 6 because we don't display the camera in presentation mode. It's just remembered that's what I had selected in performance mode before I switch modes. So now when I hit control booth, would be that input over there through that box.
That's a distinction we should make sure to remember. Because we have to be in performance mode to get our video system if we ever want it.
Yeah, if you're going to use the cameras, you're in a performance mode. Because you're going to have an operator back here if you're using the cameras. So you might as well have an operator back here running sound. Lecture mode truly is, we're going to plug in a laptop, we're going to do a presentation, we're going to yell at some students, we're going to go about our day.
You can do
Sounds
it.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been around.
That's what we're doing every day. Every day.
Pretty much it.
Get them in here, yell at them, release them.
Password for the back. Or
It can be added. It's one of them things that's going to have to go through channels because it is programming.
Is there a cost to it?
Yes.
Worth the cost.
I think worth the cost in the backstage, but maybe not.
I can't answer what the cost would be because I'm not a restaurant programmer. I don't know how long it takes. I do enough programming. That's one can of worms I really just don't want to do.
Okay.
It's the one thing that's done by computer programmers and not sound video text. We do all the rest of the programming.
It just takes a moment to sync.
You know, it seems like that port down there might not be working right. We'll have to test that.
Okay. So he's got his laptop plugged in through the box into wall plate 6, which is control booth. And we're shooting his image up there. Now, here is one thing that was overlooked on just this portion. Your Blu-ray player. Originally designed to go through your camera system. A Blu-ray player cannot go through a camera system because a Blu-ray player's output is copyright protected, and a camera system cannot accept anything copyright protected. So even if you tried to plug in a Mac computer to your camera system as a source, it would not work. So the same thing we do with that box, we have to do with the Blu-ray player. We have to physically plug an HDMI output from the Blu-ray player into that box and then use it as control booth source. And to answer the question that's on your mind is, I know you don't have a second box. You do now.
We do?
Yeah. I found one. It's not on my list.
Yay.
So it's quietly becoming yours, and I'm not going to do anything about it.
Great.
So that'll be a permanent hardwired.
It is. I was wondering,
It-
what if this goes?
We can leave it up here permanently hardwired, but because there's only one video port up here, if you're using your wireless gateway, you would have to choose which one are you using. Are you going to be doing the Blu-ray or you're going to be doing the wireless
I
gateway?
don't think we want to permanently wire it.
Well, I mean, the components will be permanently up.
What
And that way Rob can take the other one and use.
I'm going to do
Robin's.
is plug in my short little HDMI cable I brought in to the back of the Blu-ray player, and I'm going to leave the tail of it sitting outside the rack. So all you have to do is plug that HDMI into one of your receiver boxes. That way you don't have to open the back of this rack, you don't have to do anything, just plug in an HDMI cable
I like it.
and then patch it into the wall.
Yeah, because we will at some point be wanting to play DVDs and systems. And that
Don't
will
tell
handle
them
the
we leave
sound.
Yeah. Is there some reason it still says off on the projector? When it's on?
It's still waiting for its live feedback. And as soon as I hit the off button, it's going to switch it on. It doesn't constantly pull it.
Okay.
Um,
So the last time it remembers.
Yeah.
So you hit it twice to get it to do that.
just to tell it to, hey, refresh my state.
Okay.
So if you push the button, you hear it click, the projector is coming on. If after you see the image and it still doesn't say on, you can push the on button again to make it say on.
Okay.
That threw us for a loop one day because it
Yeah.
it looked like it was on, but it kept saying it was off. And
So yeah, because we're pulling live feedback from the projector itself to pull its state, sometimes depending on the timing of it, it doesn't pull it for a while. So keep that in mind. If you see the image, the projector's obviously on. You can hit the on button again. It's not going to shut it off.
Mhm.
On is on, off is off.
Okay.
So just to recap, to play a DVD, we will have to physically plug in the DVD player to,
Behind you, I'll get this patched in now. I should have put this door back on.
I think if you don't have to decide,
no,
I mean,
just
this
move
is,
it and
this
just
right here is your kid.
a little. I'll check into that. See if we can do it. I'll go over
I mean, right now it's not your kid for me, it's your kid for me.
that. Well, I don't know if the kids ever going in there.
I don't know. It doesn't- no.
So that plugs into what?
It would plug into your transmitter box.
That box. So we either have to purchase a longer cable.
Oh, you don't have to
No,
do that
it's-
either.
It's got a long cable.
Because I've got a list of handover equipment for you.
right.
I got a couple 50s and a 25.
Yeah, all kinds of presents.
So we would swap out the one you just put in there for that.
You would not swap that cable. This is the physical patch cable to get from that box to the wall. That still plugs into this box.
So we have to move that box over here.
Correct.
Okay. That's fine. And that's auxiliary number,
this one is.
It'll be control booth
control booth in presentation mode.
or wall plate 6 in production mode. Because,
Nope, that's half of it.
or video in 6.
Thank you.
Sorry.
In performance mode.
Correct.
And then you said wall plate 6 and the other.
Production.
Video in 6 in production mode. Live sound mode. Whatever they call that mode. What did we call it? Performance mode.
Video in and then. Okay, I got confused. It's video in 6 in performance mode. And what is it in presentation mode?
Control booth. It's based on where you're at. 'Cause we try to make this mode as idiot-proof as possible.
Yeah, thank you.
If you know where you're at, this is what you're using.
Well, I know that there will be several sports teams that want to show every year, they all want to have their banquet video in here.
So in the bottom of this rack are all the remotes for devices. The only remote you need is actually the Denon remote for the Blu-ray player, because you cannot push play on the front panel, and it needs AAA batteries. Here's a pair.
Sharing is caring.
Because we're not controlling the Blu-ray player with the control system.
So if that remote disappears, we're not gonna start a Blu-ray disc.
Yep, you're just gonna live on the home screen menu where it's playing the opening music that
It will never go any further.
and it won't go any further.
Wow. That doesn't seem very practical.
Let's tie it to the box.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
gotta,
Total yen on that.
Very, yeah.
I'm wondering if I should just order another one and put it in a vault somewhere when we lose the first one.
So Mike started-
Tell Brent to
That
turn
Mike,
on the
I did tell him to turn on the air. I did. He said it takes a few minutes to warm up, or to fire up. No, the second the air comes on, you'll feel, it'll be like a refrigerated hairdryer.
So you'll notice when we started this that the media volume's all the way down. If I press it once, it will go back to the state it was last used in. So before you start any audio with your media, turn it up first and then turn it back down to probably halfway, and then test how loud your audio source is. Especially when it comes to a Blu-ray, they come out really hot. Apple computers can be hot for audio, but I use two different PC laptops. One's louder than the other. So keep that in mind. Check that before you start your audio when it comes to your media.
In presentation mode, we don't use the board to adjust volume at all.
Correct.
In performance mode, we have to use the board
Yes.
to adjust volume.
In performance mode, all audio runs through this.
The board, okay.
So the screen mute, if I mute it, blacks out the screen, the button stays red. Right. Well, take a peek before I hit it again. Hit it again, unmutes it. Any questions on that? Like I said, we tried to make it easy.
That's it?
That's the whole system, really. It's duplicated down on stage. One thing we're going to go over, though, we're going to switch modes. We're going to go into performance mode. We'll do this. So I chose audio only just because I already had the projector on. I didn't want the screen position to move. You have display control for the makeup room, which is technically the backstage storage closet now.
We're gonna clean that out.
Okay, I assume so. And then you have the east corridor monitor.
Yeah.
So we can turn them on from here. You don't have to run down there with the remote. And then if you go into video routing, this side is your inputs. And video 1 in is on the stage somewhere. I don't have it memorized. Video 6 in is the one up here. Black Magic is the camera system. And then video out, you'll notice that video in 6 has a jack below it that probably says video out 6.
6 note.
So you could route that back because you actually have a couple receivers that I'm giving you too. So if there is a video output down on stage, which there should be, if there's a video in, there's going to be a video out. I think there's 3 across the front of the stage. You could take a receiver down there and your own monitor and route video back that way for a confidence monitor. I cannot give you just the fisheye camera. I mean, you're either gonna get the camera view or whatever source you want. So keep that in mind, that's the easiest way to get a confidence monitor down there currently. It's not the ideal shot you're looking for as far, but if you take your extra transmitter, like he was saying, and get a camera, run it through that transmitter into a video in, then you can route it to one of the front of the stage video outlets for the students to see, or whatever, when you want to see the conductor. That's probably the no-cost solution.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
We're sending video to the band room, the orchestra room, and the vocal room. It all goes to your projectors in those 3 rooms. You have to physically change inputs on your projectors in those 3 rooms to use it. But we can send whatever video we want to those 3 rooms independently. And all 3 rooms don't have to be seeing the same
The
video
same thing, that's the cool part, yeah.
because it is a full matrix. It's not a one-to-one relationship.
So we could potentially put the POV camera into the music rooms.
Yeah, if you're not using, like if you're doing a band concert here, you're probably not going to have the screen down anyway,
Right.
or the projector on, but we can still select Blackmagic, make your fisheye camera or whatever as your program output, and then we can send Blackmagic over to the classrooms and out to the hallways.
And I'm thinking for like the big Christmas event that we do with the band and the big choir, that would be a perfect use for that, because they need to know when to come in and out, and they can see it and hear it, and you know, 'cause, yeah, okay. So that'll get its first test come this winter. So, all right, and then I will make labels for all of our mixer panels so that you'll know exactly which 2 channels are the mix for the auditorium sound.
And it should be the same 2
Yeah.
channels in all rooms. It should be channels 9 and 10. I did that a while ago, and I can't remember if that's where I plugged it in, but I think so, because it was the next 2 open channels on the back.
I have a label there, and we'll just get it done.
Okay.
And we'll label everything else too, if you want a specific.
And
one
just
for
remember, when you're
original
trying
or-
to send music to any of those rooms, all 3 of them are based on band auxiliary.
Okay.
And when we want to send audio to the camera system for recording, we use the camera one. So when he showed you on that little monitor, there's 2 little bars on the side. If you're not seeing audio there, you're not sending audio to it.
Show me where that is on.
So it's on layer C. It's the one labeled camera. Because normally you're on layer A, there's just not enough spots. Because I use them all up to get your effects returns on there. So layer C has the camera.
Can you send me something I can show?
You see, that's faster.
Yeah. Print out.
Do I take it off?
No, we'll just do this.
It says aux cam. It's right here.
You just Bluetooth something over there.
So that's right next to the one that says band. Okay. All right. And that one is unmuted automatically when you did that switch, yeah. So as long as we don't change it, it's just gonna, as long as we select bank C, it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
There you go. Must be this guy. Is it?
Your sound student is gonna have a great time doing this.
Or her eyes were just glazed straight over.
Do you have someone already kind of slotted for that?
I mean, maybe with drums.
Oh, you must have beat me to the connection.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
go
I
ahead.
just disconnected.
Oh, you just disconnected?
Yeah, I just disconnected. I was surprised that it connected because
She's real smart.
I thought, well, you're probably connecting, so.
I was trying to, and then
If you just repeatedly select this and change the input here. That's a good idea.
I'm like, wait a minute. My phone doesn't say admin.
That's a nice confidence monitor right there.
That's, you just know what's going on. Okay, that's, post the drive.
We are preparing to budget.
It's all right, because the only music I have on my phone is my own band.
Oh,
well, let's hear it.
it. Let's hear it.
So I hope you like hard rock.
Let's do it.
We apologize.
Format the drive.
And it is a Windows format, I assume.
Yes.
Get audio? Yes. Released this album and months ago.
Where's that audio coming from? What mic is recording that? It's my phone playing through it out, so it's going out, so it's not going through my bad thing. Videos, raps on everybody's
Even I still do it.
If we also change the codec.
MP4 is something we're
Yeah.
all.
This song is the first one we released off this
Roll
album.
down the record. Hit set. Hit that ProRes HD, that's gonna be that. These are added formats, you whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Compressed.
No.
What would you recommend for?
Well, I
How long you
use
been
this for mine, but that's.
How long have I been playing?
Yeah.
I started playing accordion when I was 5, and then I started drums when I was 8.
Okay.
First trigger to it.
Entirely self-taught?
No, I did drums through middle school and high school a little bit, and then the rest orchestra band stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Just to learn the rhythms and
Sure.
the important things.
Sure.
The rest of it I just figured out.
There it is.
Do you have a favorite drummer?
Mike Portnoy, Dream Theater, or Mike Mangini, Dream Theater, as it currently is. So I'm definitely more in the progressive rock. Yeah, this is probably
That's
my
some
most
work.
challenging.
Yeah.
This is drum track only.
What venues do you play?
We played the Caboose, played down in Des Moines, Vaudeville Muse down there. Played a place over in Wisconsin that was terrible. I can't remember the name of it. And then a little bit in the Van Halen area. I we were working at Tech the other night late. I was in the band room doing their projector. I'm like, ooh, drum set. Guys always, oh, you should sit down and play something on drums. I'm like, yeah.
Available?
Okay.
No.
All right, fine, I will tonight.
Have you seen Doug's drum set with his cart that rolls it around?
So how do we know how much room is left?
So fancy.
What's this?
My drum kit at one point,
I don't really, you don't know how many
pieces.
how much your hours, there is no,
2 kicks,
they don't work that way. When it
5
gets
toms,
to the end, it goes to the other.
Right.
Basic
Or,
time,
rat-a-toms,
eventually you're up.
snare, gong drum,
You'll fill both and then it'll
What?
stop, but like on.
full rack all the way around me, two layers high.
Yeah.
And as the stages get
The
smaller,
idea-
playing original
the
music
context
is tough
record
because
for audio.
you're always sharing the stage with multiple bands.
Right.
So now my drum kit's about
To
6 pieces.
display
Sure.
not only time code, if we're using clock, but.
So that's really it. Sorry, we got a little sidetracked there, but
Yeah, that's fine.
It can also display time remaining until it gets full.
So could you just recap again how you get the Bluetooth
That's
to
what's
there?
recording on the tape.
oh, sure. So in
And this is when you have loggers.
In performance mode is the only time the CD player is available because it runs through the mixer. So you just have to, the first time you pair, hit the pairing button on this guy right here,
Okay.
and then find it on your phone and connect to it, and then that will show up in the CD channels.
Okay.
And you know, truthfully, I don't
Okay.
think we're ever using the time code.
So as long as you're in performance mode.
You can use the CD.
Yeah, it's just, it's what.
And the idea behind that is for, backing tracks for plays, sound effects and stuff like
Does
that.
Black Magic have to be selected?
It does not. The only reason that's selected is we're just shooting it up there.
We're doing video side production.
And then to send audio from here to the recording, remember, it's on its own camera mix bus.
Post, in post.
So
And we don't have
eventually when the hanging mics are put up on the front catwalk, there's really should be the last 4 channels, 29, 30, 31, and 32. You won't actually send these to the main mix because you don't want feedback, but you will use these to send to the camera recorder.
Right.
And you can use it to send it to the band rooms too, so you can actually hear the room, not just the performer.
Yeah.
So you need to hear applauses and things like that.
Mhm.
So as band concerts, you may not be mic'd for a lot of it.
Right.
So you just need to basically listen to the room. But never ever have these go to
Yep.
mains. It's painful feedback too. Because they'll be hanging just in front of the forward catwalk.
So it'll be loud.
So that's really it.
Thank you.
So from before you shut it down, remember to do the power off sequence there.
And now we can turn it off over here?
Yeah.
All right, so we can do that.
It took a little creative wiring on my side this morning because this would come on in certain modes when I wanted it to, but the stage box wouldn't come on in the right mode. And then this couldn't find the stage box, and then it would give you an error message, and you'd have to restart the console anyway. So I should have it fixed. Now power off, in theory,
You see a kid hitting a bass drum or
Nice.
will also shut off the projector, put screen